It is once again time for a market update, this time for September 2025. And if you're curious about what's really going on in the real estate market here in Knoxville, we're going to look at the numbers. In this video, we're going to break it all down. Let's get to it. My name is Todd Joel, and I'm a real estate and relocation expert with over 20 years experience here in East Tennessee. And the one thing that I know is if you really want to know what's going on in a real estate market, you've got to get beyond opinion and you've got to get into the real data. And if you watch our channel regularly, you know that this is something we do every month. We break down the actual numbers for real estate sales in Knox County, Tennessee, and I'm going to give you my expert opinion on what I think that means for our current market and going forward. I want to start with average days on market. Now, average days on market is exactly that. It is what is the average number of days that a home is listed for sale to the public before it goes under contract. I'm not a fan of averages. Why? Because they really do a poor job of telling the true story. But if you turn on the news or if you look at almost all the people who publish data, they use averages. So I'm going to publish that. We keep up with it. Here in September of 2025, at the end of the month, it was 47.4 days for all of Knox County. Anytime we're looking at data, we also have to look at trends. Any piece of data taken out of context and not looked at within a trend is really useless. It can be manipulated to say anything you want it to. So we always compare our data here to trends. And if we look back in August, go back a month, compare it to month over month, the average days was 40.9. So we have seen almost a 7-day increase. If we look at year over year, September of 24, well, that was 29.9 days. So we've seen that number increase, 50% or so. So a significant increase in average days. Now, a better indicator of how long sellable homes, and I'll explain it, how long sellable homes settle market is median days on market. What does median days mean? Median means 50% of the homes sell above this number of days, 50% of the homes sell below this number of days. So it cuts out the homes that we have in our market here in Knox County, or it does a better job of not letting them skew the numbers that are overpriced, poor condition, and they're just not what I call sellable inventory. We call it shadow inventory. So the median days on market is 21. That's a significant number, less than half of the average. What that basically means is if a home hits the market that's priced properly for the location and its condition, it's going to sell in less than 3 weeks. That's what that number means. And that, from someone who's in the market, is exactly what we are seeing here in Knoxville. If it's properly priced, it's going to go quickly, 30 days or less. If it is not priced properly, the market's going to sit there and wait on the seller to get realistic as it relates to its condition and location. So the next number I'm going to look at is sold to original list price. Sold to original list price is exactly, once again, what it says. When the home was originally listed, what did it actually sell for? What percent? Well, what we're seeing in September, and you're going to see this in the numbers, is that the market's pretty slow in September traditionally. So we see that number being 95.7%. That means a lot of homes are selling for, 4.3% discount over the original list price that are selling, over the list price. If we look back in August, same thing. It was 95.7, so it stayed completely flat. If we look back to September of last year, it's moved down very little. It was 96.6, so about a 1% difference that we've seen in negotiating power. Some of that just simply comes from sellers still being a little unrealistic and having to understand that they're not going to get the appreciation rates year over year that they were getting up through last year. Now, active listings. I only pull for Knox County single family homes. There's no lots in this, no commercial property, no duplexes, just single family homes, so the numbers are true, and month over month we can look at trends. So the number of active listings at the end of September, 1,837 listings. That is up just a few listings. It was 1,809 in August. So we see a few more listings on the market, but pretty much flat. If we look at that year over year, September last year, that number is 1,365. So we do have more listings on the market, not by a lot, but more listings than we had last September. The problem that we're seeing here is that we aren't seeing more sellable listings. We're seeing more homes that are building up because they're unrealistic, as I said earlier. So they're sitting there, and that's building that number. The next thing that we want to look at, and this important number, is new listings. How many new listings are hitting the market during the month? Well, in the month of September, we had 700 978 homes that were listed in Knox County. In August, we had 807 homes. So we saw that number drop a little bit. Now, look at last year. Is that a normal trend? Well, actually it is. Last August, we had 819 listings, and in September, 753. So this is exactly what we would expect year over year to see, September being a little bit slower month for some reason. Always has been. Now, next number we look at, sold listings. How many homes sold during the month of September? This was a little surprising. Now, today is the second day of October, so this number will increase, but it's such a low number, to be honest with you. It surprised me that it's not going to increase enough to not make it a low number. That number in the month of September for 2025 was 514. And you go, is that really that low? There's 514 homes sold as of this morning that are marked sold in September. Well, in August, it was 733 homes. Significant drop. Now, we do normally see a significant drop for September, because I said it's a slow month for some reason. Kids have gone back to school. Everybody's settling into a routine. If we look back last year, in September of last year, we had 600 homes sold. So this number right now is below last year's number year over year. That's the surprising part for me. And some of it may be that we have so much poorly priced inventory. We also have a lot of turmoil going on in the country financially right now. So that can also have something to do with it. But if we look at last year as well, August was 696 sales, September 600. So we did see a significant drop month over month last year. We would expect that. But this is a larger drop than normal. We'll see what that number comes up to, and we'll talk about that in the next month's video. But sales were down as far as home sales in September. Now, two numbers that really matter: absorption rate, sold price, and then I'm going to give you what I think these numbers really mean, kind of a summary of that and what I think they're going to mean going forward. Absorption rate means this. It simply means that if we don't have anything else listed today, how long is it going to take to pretty much sell out of inventory? Well, that number at the end of September was 2.97 months, basically 3 months worth of inventory. That is a significantly better number than we saw year over year, because last September that was 2.25 as an absorption rate. So we've seen a good increase. We need that increase. We are in an inventory shortage in Knoxville and have been for a long time. 3 is a little bit closer to a neutral, stable market. If we can get that number from a buyer's agent perspective to 3.5, then we've got something. Now, the bad part is the inventory sellable, which we've still got to address. But I do think that is a positive for the market here in Knoxville. If we look at it month over month, August, September, we really saw very little change. It was 2.94 in August, 2.97 in September. That's such a small difference that I would call that flat. So what about pricing? Less sales, more inventory, growing days on market, averages especially, the pricing would be going down, right? Well, that's not the case. So the median, and once again, I don't use average sales price, the median sold price of a home, 50% sold above, 50% sold below. Knox County is small enough that if you have some big sales, it could skew an average. So we use the median, get in the middle. That number is 408,450. And if we look at that, we go, okay, is that more? Is that less? If we look at last month, that number was 390,000. So a pretty good increase in the median sold price month over month. But Knox County is a smaller county, so that number can jump around a little bit as we look. So year over year to me is a better indicator. September last year, median sold price 404,200. So if you compare that to this year, it's about a 1%, 1.05 to be exact, percent increase year over year. So we're not seeing pricing decreases, but we are seeing pricing stay pretty stable with slight increases. I've said to begin with, I think we're in a 1 to 3%, 2 to 5%, depending on where you are in Knoxville, increase for 2025. I think that's going to continue to happen as long as nothing crazy happens with rates. So last August of 24, median sold price 387,500. September sold price 404,200. We saw a significant increase from August to September in 24, just like we did in August to September of 25. So there is a pattern there. For some reason, the number in August is average sales price has always been slightly less. Don't know why, just know it's a pattern. What does that mean? It just means pricing is doing exactly what we expected to. It's holding about steady with slight positive increases throughout the year. I think that's all positive. Now, Let's talk in summary. These numbers are telling me that we have inventory is still very tight because there is a big difference in the sellable inventory and the shadow inventory. At least 50% of our inventory you can set to the side because it's not even sellable at its current price, condition, and location. Very, very important that those things match up, right? It also is telling me, just like we're seeing in the market, that if a home hits the market, priced properly, good location for its condition, it doesn't mean it's updated. It just means it's priced properly for its condition. It's going to sell fairly quickly. According to this, 21 days or less. So somewhere around 30 days or less, you can expect your home to be sold. If you have a home out there listed in Knox County and you're watching this video, I know we now have more locals watching this than we used to. The market is telling you that there is something wrong with the price versus its condition and its location, and that's a conversation that you need to be having with your listing agent, and they should be able to explain to you what that is. If you're a buyer, what this is telling me is if we see rates hit the 5%, even if it's a high 5.9, if that becomes a standard, we're going to see more buyers jump back in the market. And I think it's going to push pricing up a little bit. Even if it doesn't push pricing up, it's going to increase the competitiveness for the homes, and you're going to have a little less leverage as a buyer. So in my opinion, if you're looking to buy, don't wait. It's a great time to do so right now. There are homes hitting the market. There are homes hitting the market that are priced properly, that you can take advantage of that market and be able to find a great home. If you have questions, put them in the comments below. We will be glad to answer them for you. If you have not reached out to us directly and you are considering buying or selling, relocating to the Knoxville area, we would love to talk to you. It's never too early. If you're thinking about selling, it goes for you as well. If you enjoyed the video, love the thumbs up as well. If you haven't subscribed, we do at least 2 or 3 videos a week we put out to try to help you make good, solid decisions and learn about the Knox County real estate market and Knoxville in general. And until next time, guys, I can't wait to see you around Knoxville soon.